All right, here we go. Here we go. Chat room, let me know you can hear me. We're doing a setup on the road, so things are gonna be the way things are gonna be today. Orange and Blue today, post game live, playoff edition, and the Broncos did not get it done. Oh boy! All right, let me know you can hear me again. Doing this remotely, so might take you for a little walk around the press box here at the stadium. So again, chat room react. It's your time, and my goodness, terrible performance, embarrassing. Honestly, you get to the postseason, you play like this. I will get to the off-season takeaways. I will get to the, hey, what does this season really mean? Like, all of that stuff is coming. Right now, I need a vent. And I need to stay somewhat sane when I do that. So I'm here to talk to you guys about what happened in this contest against the Buffalo Bills, again, live in the press box here. I might just take you for a little spin and walk and talk this thing before I get to the chat room, because this was an embarrassing performance from the Broncos defense. It was embarrassing performance from the Broncos offense. And it's just, you made the playoffs, you get to the postseason, you get things done, and then you see what it's like when you play one of the NFL's best. You see what it's like when you play one of the best teams, one of the best quarterbacks, and you kind of measure up in this one. You can see the stadium there behind me. But you measure up, and that's kind of what you do after this sort of embarrassing loss. I'm just going to keep using that word. Oh, yeah. It's not what you wanted to see, that's for sure. So, chat room, this one's for you, and this one is for all of you. Sorry, getting text as I'm doing this. Again, doing this thing remotely here in Buffalo, and it's disappointing, right? It's a disappointing game, a disappointing loss, and embarrassing because that's not the way you wanted to show up. You didn't show up, basically. Let's just say that. You didn't show up at all in this contest. And, first drive was so great. You know what I mean? The first drive was outstanding. And then it's just all downhill from there. We got a lot to get to on this show. And again, I'm going to be a little bit more reserved. I have people working press here in the press box with me. So even though I may want to scream and shout, perhaps even use obscenities, I will not be doing that on this show. So going to stay a little, a little safe. And not really maybe rage the way that I feel inside because, again, embarrassing. That's what I'll continue to say. And again, if you're just joining me, expecting me to flip out, I mean, I might. I might, because you had a better opportunity here than the final score would indicate. Now, on the flip side of that, I mean, Buffalo just continued to do what worked against you. Your offense couldn't help your defense at all, and your defense couldn't stop the run. And I'll get the numbers. Numbers don't even matter. Y'all don't watch the post-game show, so it'll be like, let's go over the box score. It's mainly about the emotion of the moment. This flipping sucks, okay? There's no other way around this. This is a terrible feeling. to get to this moment and to this point and to play like that. I said it this morning. I said I just want a good game. You know, in talking to people here in Buffalo, talking to other media members, I just said, you know what? I want a good game. And I want Broncos win. Obviously didn't get that. But just this is what you got. I mean, I was making fun of the Chargers last night because the Chargers choked against the Texans. What did the Broncos just do? What did they just do out there? Right? I watched that field. I watched this whole fan base go flipping nuts over a team that just kept running the ball. They just kept running the ball because you couldn't stop them. And when you think back to the loss of Alex Singleton, and that was what, week 3, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, chat room, and please just allow me this moment. I'm trying to maintain myself. And what's the old Pulp Fiction line, right? I'm just saying, I'm like a race car in the red. And I'm just saying, you don't want to push a race car in the red. So as I work through my emotions of this moment, I go back to the moment you lose Alex Singleton. And over the course of the year, you're not really hurt by the loss of Alex Singleton until Chargers late in the season, Bengals late in the season, and the Kansas City game didn't matter. It got you to the postseason, it didn't matter. It was backups that were laying down. Completely obvious. Everyone knew that at the time. It's not even worth talking about. But then you get to playoff football. And I've said it a million times, playoff football is just different. Playoff football is run the ball, stuff the run. Play great defense, run the ball. It's essentially what playoff football is. And now it can turn into different things, and everyone wants to see all the high flying and the touchdowns and the passing game. I understand that. But just kind of the spirit of playoff football is, I'm going to run it down your throat. You're not going to be able to stop me. I'm going to man up on you, and I'm going to take your will. And that's what the Buffalo Bills did. They took the will of the Denver Broncos. They just were playing with their food, okay? And look at DenverSports.com. Andrew Mason had a piece there that was like, hey, you know, the kind of key is you want Josh Allen to pass more than they run. Every time they run to whatever number it was, I think it was, 25, 35 carries, whatever the number is. Somebody's have it out there. Whatever the number is, 25 carries, 35 carries, whatever that number is. Josh Allen is now 34-0. I know that number. He's 34-0 when they run more than he passes. And again, box score, just somebody in the chat room. I'm going to get to the chat in a little bit. Again, just trying to get the emotions off the chest. And I'll get to the next year stuff. Okay, I'll get to the offseason stuff. I will get back to the season in review because chat room's already probably full of that. I've already seen it on Twitter. I've already seen it on X of like, well, they made it this far, and that's all that matters. That's true. So everyone out there that's maintaining a calm demeanor of like, well, hey, this season was a success. That's actually true. Right now I'm pissed. Right now I'm embarrassed by this performance. I agree with you. This season was a success. I agree with you. We're going to get to that down the road. I agree with you. Bo Nix gets playoff experience. I agree with you. The one thing I can't do right now is talk about how great that was, because this flipping sucks. The Broncos losing this game in the manner that they did when the opportunity was there for them to do more, when the opportunity was there for them to look better than they did. This team's better than that. They played like garbage out there. You kidding me? This team is better than that. And Buffalo flat out embarrassed them. And they did it just with the running game. Again, playing with their food. It was like cat and mouse game. And it's like, mouse going to run around a little bit. Cat's going to batter around a little bit. It's not going to kill it yet. Until it did kill it. And the Broncos got killed by the Buffalo Bills, and they did it by mainly just running. They didn't have to have balance for a couple of reasons. I'm just as mad at Sean Payton as I am at Vance Joseph. Okay? For the whole crowd out there of like, this is all VJ's fault. Sean kept going 3 and out. You know, you activate Tyler Bidet, then you don't use Tyler Bidet, but you waited till the playoffs to activate Tyler Bidet when you could have warmed him up against the Chiefs. You could have really seen Tyler Bidet against the Chiefs. Again, backups laying down. But that was kind of a warm up, see where your legs are at, take a hit type of thing. And then you just didn't get that. So, like, the old Ricky Waters thing, for who, for what? What was this about, right? Sorry, I'm looking back at my computer. Like, what was this about when that was your decision? Mason and I did a video, all up in the videos from the table right over there, when the inactives were announced. You might have seen it on social networking. And it was like, okay, that's cool. Are you going to use them? My God, I should put my hat back on. That's okay. Are you going to use him? Are you going to use Tyler Bidet? Or did you just activate him for no reason, right? Maybe I should put my hair in a ponytail. Either way. Like, should you activate him for no reason? Or why did you do that? Unless you had a plan. What was the plan? To use him, what do you get, 2 carries? Whatever the number is? Like, that was the plan? The plan was still Javonte and 3 yards and a cloud of dust? Like, that was the plan? It's a lousy plan, man. This is playoffs. I don't think the Broncos, got distracted in the playoffs. I don't think the Broncos, were not as prepared from the players' perspective. I just think you had a lousy game plan. Your game plan was absolutely lousy against this team. Both, what was your plan defensively? Let him score every drive? It's not great, Bob. Right? Kind of like my hair without a hat. Ugh. So I'm in a hat day today in Buffalo. Yes, it's cold. Yes, it's miserable. It's Buffalo. That's what it is. And now Broncos fans, you're miserable because you had to watch your team lose in that manner, in the way that they did. So I may have to get some hot cocoa. Look at this nice little hot cocoa bar they have for us. I'm pissed. I'm trying to work it out. I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to drink some water, but it's just not what you wanted, man. It's not what you wanted, and this is what you got. This is what you got. You got embarrassed. You got embarrassed by the Buffalo Bills. So let me get to the chat room. I only have 400 comments. Give me some more comments. And let's talk about this thing, right? Let's talk about what the Denver Broncos did not do in this one. And it's on Vance Joseph and it's on Sean Payton. It's not just one. You can go after Vance Joseph. You can say terrible defense. You can do all that. You got to bring up Sean Payton going 3 and out all the time. You got to talk about everything because this was a all-out collapse on both sides of the ball. And again, I think it's game plan-wise. It's not on the talent that was out there, and obviously they need more talent. I mean, that's not a hot take or anything like that. We know this team needs talent. They don't have enough talent to compete at the highest level because you just saw the Buffalo Bills. The highest level are the Baltimore Ravens, Buffalo Bills, Detroit Lions. You just saw how that looks against those teams. And again, it's not great, Bob. All right, so got about 15 minutes in. I seem to be somewhat calm. No one's told me to shut up. Please shut up. I gotta laugh or else I'd cry. After this sort of game, after this performance, After I'm sure we've got Bills fans trolling in the comments. Maybe we don't. I don't know. I don't care. They'll be all right. Broncos country, you'll be all right. But this one was just so damn bad. And that's where, for me, expecting more from this team, expecting more from these coaches, and that's what it is. That's what it is. Colorado Dan says, just need everything. Tight end, running back, another wide receiver. That's just on offense. Defensive line needs to be larger. DJ Jones is gone. Certainly. So, yeah, there you go. There you go. And I do believe, let me bring up this comment before it disappears into the ether. The Bills won with all the playmakers. As Mike points out here, they should have won. They have a ton of playmakers. Broncos don't. I had said it sometime. I talk a lot. I apologize. Hey, even Curtis Samuel could be their X factor, and then Samuel comes through with the big play. Cyril, personal trainer, says poor play calling on O, but come on, this was all on the D. Let me tell you how it wasn't all on the D. Now, I would say the defense was terrible in terms of their plan because Buffalo just kept running. Buffalo didn't need to do that. They could have attacked them. I always talked about dirty bunch formation, right? Dirty bunch, dirty bunch, dirty bunch. Talked about it ad nauseum. They used dirty bunch like 5-6 times. They had some plays from it, but they didn't really need to do that. Why didn't they need to do that? Because they just kept running. They just kept running. This is the way you get them out of it. You either stop the run, there's a shocking revelation, or you stop going 3 and out so you put some pressure on their offense where they don't have to run. But because the offense, this is more than just poor play calling. This is more than just me not being able to speak English, being flustered, trying to be reserved in a working press area. But had you gone out there and, it's 14-10, 17-10, whatever the number is, had you gone out there and been able to put up a fight offensively, Buffalo's plans change offensively. Because then they go, instead of let's just keep running because they can't stop it and they're not scoring. It's a two-headed thing. If they can't stop the run, but the offense is going toe-to-toe with you, then they're going to have to do more than just run the ball. If the offense is scoring quickly, they're going to have to do more than just run the ball. They really didn't because you couldn't stop the run, and the offense wasn't scoring. So, Cyril, I would say, 60%, 70% on the defense, but it's not 100%. And I know, this was all on the D for getting dominated. It's not all on the D. I mean, again, let's say 30% on the offense because the offense didn't do anything. And if you're not going to do anything and you can't stop the run and you're not forcing, as an opponent, you're not forcing me to score, to push for points quickly through the air, it's going to keep running. So it's not all on the D. It's mostly on the defense. But it's not all on the D. Now, I expected more than a fake punt. That was interesting, right? That was interesting. With this team, Mark says, look to the draft to improve the roster. That and free agency, you're going to have more money this offseason. So, yes. Not yet to offseason talk. That'll be more probably Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, something. Still a lot to get to from this game. Max says something very true. 10's the real deal. Not that upset. They found their quarterback and they went to the playoffs. Bo Nix has never not been in the playoffs. So you like that. but it's something that, yeah, you wanted a better effort. And you wanted this to finish with a good fight. We haven't had good wild card games. Steelers were terrible. The Chargers were terrible. The Broncos were terrible. So we'll see if the afternoon games give us a better opportunity at some good football. Ben says VJ failed his head coaching interview. Yeah, that's for sure. No ability to run, no tight end. That's correct. I somehow hope VJ gets a head coaching job. He won't, which means you'll have a decision to make. So yeah. Horace says Singleton wouldn't help. You said yourself he's a chase and tackle linebacker because he is. He's better than Justin Sternad though. So would that not have helped? Yeah, that would have helped. That would have helped for sure. Oh, here it is, Scotty, going for your Bills moving forward. And it was a question. I don't want to answer it when they hadn't played the game yet, but it did come up. I think it's because Zach By was pronouncing and professing his love for the Buffalo Bills, and it was, hey, if the Bills beat the Broncos, are you going to root for the Bills the rest of the way? And the answer in that situation is like, yeah, if the Bills go to win the Super Bowl, you can say the team that won it all beat our team, beat them pretty bad. So yeah, you would say that as well. So I like that. I like that for sure. So just checking up and checking on the chat room comments. Again, if you're expecting me to rant and rave, well, wait a minute. If you're expecting me to rant and rave, that, it's a little different situation than when I'm in my home studio and I can just let it rip. So anyway. Tom says something I agree with here. Anybody but the Chiefs. ABTC. Anybody but the Chiefs. So if the Ravens go, or if the Bills go, anybody but the Chiefs. I like that. So yes, the reflection on this year's stuff, it's all the traditional, hey, you lost in the playoffs. What does that really mean? What are you doing now? And that means that we need serious juice on offense, almost a revamp, to be honest, from Jermaine. You need to run the ball. So if you think of everything that Bo Nix did and the second most touchdowns by a quarterback, a rookie quarterback, and all these sorts of things, all the history. Today, the Troy Franklin play was actually the first rookie-to-rookie touchdown in NFL history. So all Bo Nix does is make history, right? But you look at that and you go, okay, he's done all that with no ground game. He's done all that with rookie Devon Vele, rookie Troy Franklin, second-year Marvin Mims, and Mims will be better in year 3. I mean, that's a guarantee. We've seen that. We've seen the work that Marvin Mims has done and how he's improved this year. But you look forward to next year and you're like, okay, well, if you can run the ball, have actual balance, provide some spark on offense that isn't necessarily all through the arm of Bo Nix, that's what you need to do. You need to find a way so that Bo Nix isn't essentially by himself, or the passing game, I would say. The passing game is not by itself, that you actually have some help out there, and that comes in the form of the draft. So do they need a tight end? Yes, of course. Is Tyler Warren the next Jimmy Graham? Maybe. Lance Zierlein from NFL.com, also Houston radio legend. Lance Zierlein, a great human being and a great mind for NFL prospects. He had compared Tyler Warren from Penn State to Jimmy Graham. And who compared him to Dallas? Was it there's somebody that compared Tyler Warren to Dallas Clark. Somebody in the chat room remind me who that was. I can't remember who that was. But so the Dallas Clark thing, it was like, okay, might have been Jeff Saturday, something like that. I don't know. So it's like, yeah, I don't necessarily see Dallas Clark. I don't see Taysom Hill. People have said that as well, like Taysom Hill. He's better than Taysom Hill. If you want to say Jimmy Graham, that's interesting. And again, Lance does the draft profiles for NFL.com. Him and my, Chad Ryder, my dude. So, okay, get him a Jimmy Graham. That's great. I want someone that provide them balance. And that someone that could provide them balance is a running back. So think of all the great things that Bo Nix did this season, and then you think of how he did it without much, if any, help from the ground game. And you go, if you can give that guy a ground game, what does that look like? How does that perform? How do you look then? Probably pretty good. So you can either root for the Bills or you can do like Harry Plopper and says, I hope the Ravens kick the crap out of the Bills next week. Yeah, that'll be interesting, right? Ravens, Bills, all that. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, Broncos country, this was an embarrassing game. The season is a success. Bo Nix is the man. Like all these things, Coloradan says Vaughn can go get another Super Bowl, walk off into the sunset. Yeah, there's another reason to root for the Bills. Is that Vaughn would get another Super Bowl. And again, you could say the team that beat my team won the Super Bowl. So there's your sports calculation. We all do these equations in football and in life. When things go right or wrong, we're all doing math of like, how can I best calculate this so that I feel fine? You can best calculate it by saying, all right, Buffalo, go win it all. Go win it all for the first time ever. And there's a lot of Coloradans that love Josh Allen, even though he's went to Wyoming. It's just local product, all that kind of stuff. So, Ryan, I got less than a million. I was hyperbolic. I have 600 comments, so I'm going to need to ask again. By the way, any sort of Avengers reference is great. Calico Jack says, sorry, Cecil Mahomes is like Thanos. He's inevitable. Yeah. Jesus says, at least we lasted longer than the Chargers. Yeah, Bo Nix did look better than Justin Herbert. Brian says, secondary is horrible. PS2 not a shutdown, anything. The advanced data doesn't support that. We know PS2 is an all-pro, first team, best corner of the league. If you want to ask, like, how can you get more from PJ Locke? How can you get more from Brandon Jones? Can Riley Moss stay healthy and play better? Like, those are all questions. But, again, everyone's up in their emotions today, so I knew the chat room was going to be like that. You know what I mean? Of just, like, taking shots at everybody, including PS2. He's not immune from getting some of those shots in there as well. Yeah, so let me see here. Shots at me. I see those. Pookie did better. He's still his last game as Bronco. I mean, you wouldn't expect Javonte Williams to come back. I know they trust him in pass pro, but like, man. Oh, there you go, Ryan. I think I found it. Need to give up whatever we have to draft Ashton Jeanty in the NFL draft. Let me tell you a little story. And I'm going to walk and talk just because I kind of like that look. That light behind me bothers me a little bit. But I'll walk and talk when I tell you about Ashton Jeanty and the Denver Broncos. Like, I think you could and should move up. And the inevitable question comes out all the time from everybody when they say, what do you give up? What do you have to give up for Ashton Jeanty and moving up in the draft? And the Jimmy Johnson chart from Dallas comes into play. And people say, like, is this enough? You're giving up too much. Don't give up draft picks. I have one distinct message for you as I sit here with the stadium behind me. F them picks. That's my message. Ashton Jeanty is the answer that this Broncos team needs. So F, and I'll say forget, so corporate doesn't email me. Forget them picks. You don't need them if you have Ashton Jeanty. This team is a year ahead. Next year, do you want them to fall a year behind? Now that they've established themselves as a playoff team, you know what I want the Broncos to do next year? I want them to go back to the playoffs. But more than that, I want them to go back to the playoffs and win. And as I said previously, what is playoff football about? Go to the playoffs, run the ball down someone's throat, play great defense. They didn't run the ball today. They didn't play great defense today. So the best recipe for playoff success is one that the Denver Broncos didn't have the ingredients for. The defense is a much more complicated issue. The running game is somewhat simple. I say that, and I don't want any sort of offense, although, as I often say, get as offended as you like, because Ashton Jeanty is your answer. That's the easy answer. You move up in the first round, you sacrifice a picks, and you get a running back that compares favorably to Saquon Barkley. Some would even say Emmitt Smith. That one's a little hesitant to say that one. Speaking of Emmitt Smith, not Emmett, because of course I'm in Buffalo, but I do want to show you this. Because there's a Thurman Thomas, like Ring of Honor, and Thurman's back there. Thurman, Emmett, that was a great rivalry back in the day. So, yeah, if you're the Broncos, get a stud running back. And if you're the Broncos, that stud running back to me is Ashton Jeanty. So that's how you make it happen. You make it happen through the draft by getting the best asset that can make the most immediate impact. And that's what you're looking for. Looking for the best asset that can come through right now. Not in 3 years. Most tight ends take 3 years. Most tight ends aren't Brock Bowers. So most tight ends take 3 years. In 3 years, I want Bo Nix to already have a Super Bowl. So why would I say get a tight end? They do need a tight end. But why would I say that knowing that it takes 3 years? When in 3 years, I want Bo Nix to have already won a Super Bowl. You have a rookie contract. You have a rookie contract with Bo Nix. So you have an opportunity to build your team and do it in a way that you're not paying an exorbitant amount for your quarterback yet. So because of that, instant impact. Instant impact. Ashton Jeanty can have the instant impact that this team needs. That's for sure. And they need a running back. That's the bottom line. There's a great need there. The great need there. Craig, the chat room is wild. The Broncos don't need an overhaul. It's one game. Chill. We have pieces here. Just need one more solid draft, and we are there. I would say this, Craig, you're mostly right. I would mostly agree with your opinion. And the chat room is wild. I would say overhaul defensively. You know, because what's the answer on defense? You got Malcolm Roach this offseason. He's a great defender to stuff the run. Alex Singleton is a chase and drag tackler. So, but he's better than Justin Strnad, so him being back would help your run defense, but help how much? DJ Jones is likely gone, so perhaps you're drafting more defensive tackle help. Your edges are fine. Your ILBs need help, and your secondary needs depth. I would say that, right? Chris Abrams looks like a great young player to continue to develop, but outside of him and outside the starters, you know, there's questions at the safety position. behind PJ Locke, behind Brandon Jones. So there's questions there. So, and then stylistically, what do you do there defensively? That's a question mark that I would have for this team. That I would have for that. Roger says, Warren more like Gronk. Man, it'd be great if Gronk came back, huh? With the Broncos, I'm saying. That'd be awesome. Players do want to play for Bo Nix. So that's a cool little kind of off-season message. It's one that I'll get further into around free agency. And I said it on Joe Burns Cecil, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on the Fan. So listen, 104.3 The Fan, we appreciate you. But I had teased it, and I can't say who the potential free agent is or the soon-to-be free agent or, whenever the off-season starts, that it's like, man, I want to play with Bo Nix. That's already beginning. This is an offensive player. So, that's already out there. It's great news for the Denver Broncos because it's not even yet the offseason, and players that are set to be free agents are already like, that Bo Nix guy, I want to play with him. And I think that's another way that you win with Bo Nix. You win because he's the franchise quarterback. You win because he's a perfect fit for Sean Payton. It's always about the duo. And then you win because other players are saying, I want to play with that guy. When we get to free agent, I might have a few more of those players that tell me, I want to go play with that guy. So, Kapulua says, where's Mace? Still in the end zone. Mace is in the locker room. And I don't think he's at the podium, but we do have a camera set up at the podium for Orange and Blue today. And then we also have the locker room stuff that Mace is going to get here as well. So we had a decision to make. Here are our decisions for the post-game show. Somebody else hosts it. And and again, I've told you guys before, so this isn't about the other options to host it. This is just me. Like, I need it to brain dump and to get through my emotions of this game so that I don't go crazy. So that was one option. Somebody else hosts the post-game show, and me and Mace go to the locker room. Option 2, post-game show is delayed if the Broncos lost a close game or won the game. Because if they lost a close game, I think the locker room presence, I would have needed to have been there. If they would have won the game, then hell yeah, I would be in there. And then the fourth option, fourth, I never learned to read. The fourth option was if they get blown out, I'm just going to do the post-game show because I doubt many people are going to talk. Troutman will talk. McGlinchey will talk. Court will talk. It's a limited list. It's not going to be a jovial locker room. Andrew Mason and I are going to do a post-game show. So make sure to stay tuned for that. And as we have work to do here in Buffalo, and then we're going to drive 3 hours to Cleveland tonight so that we can rest for probably 3 hours before we go to the airport and fly back to Denver because the Broncos are probably going to clean out their lockers tomorrow. And Mace will be there for that. I will be back on the air at 10 a.m. We land soon enough. Hopefully I'll be able to make it. Knock on wood. So, we had some decisions to make. And my decision, or Mace's and I's decision, Mace and I decided, is that a better way to say it? That with this blowout loss, I would just go live. I have to be reserved because it's a working press area. So I can't rant and rave and scream and cuss and all that. But I'll do a post-game show. We'll get it done. We'll work through this together, right? Hold my hand, and we'll work through this together because you need to work through that. You need to work through that. So, Marquis says, Cease, why was the receiver being a tool to PS2? Excited, I guess. I mean, PS2, he doesn't talk trash on the field. He just goes out there and beats you. So, like, yeah, that'd be my guess. Just excited, or maybe that receiver's a big jerk. It's football. Guys do that. Even to the greats, they do that. So, John, what happened to Estime? They decided that Bidet would give him a better option, and then they didn't use him. So I'm sure Sean Payton's asking or answering questions about that. Jacob says let's be real, they could draft a running back later and get help in free agency. The tight end room is an embarrassment. How is the running back room not? Their leading rusher is a guy that's not going to be here. And 500 yards. Not to go Shania Twain on everybody, but that don't impress anybody much. Even Shania. And yes, this is let's say this, 12 running backs in the first 3 rounds. So in the first 3 rounds, you want to get a running back. As currently graded, I have 1 in the first round. And it's a top 10 pick. Can you get the best back in this class? You can get Nevin Neal in the 3rd. You can get DJ Giddens in the 4th. And I haven't yet fully graded everybody. That's coming in closer to the February. After the combine, I'll have full grades done on these players. But right now, it's like, okay, plenty of options. Caleb Johnson option, your 2nd round pick. So plenty of options. Hampton, all these guys you could get. But do you want the best in this class? Nobody else compares to Saquon Barkley in this class, other than Ashton Jeanty. Now, Tyler Warren, also a top 10 pick, top 10 graded player. Okay, Tyler Warren, you're going to have to move up to get him too. And tight ends usually take time, 3 years. And that's why I emphasize the running back position. So, Jacob, I would say back to you, let's be real. You got to move up for Tyler Warren, and you got to move up for Ashton Jeanty. Either way. And because of that, I go, what's next? Both are great players. One, I believe, is better than the other, and one can make an impact sooner than the other. His career will be shorter, but in 4 years, the Broncos will have another back. Or if he's healthy and you're not like the Giants and say, Saquon, we don't need that guy, and then he gets 2,000 yards. If you want to keep him, if he stayed healthy, then you're gold. By the time Tyler Warren, if he's like most tight ends, by the time he's going, now Bo Nix is 4 years in. I'd rather have the guy that helps immediately and is the best in this class and can help Bo Nix right now. Because it's clear from this game, you got to fix the ground game. You got to fix the ground game. Caleb says, I hope Spags gets a gig. Spagnuolo, the defense coordinator of the Chiefs. Maybe. And then what travels well in the playoffs? Yeah. The defensive line is curious again. The offensive line, you're set. You're fine. That's your offensive line. And I know some people disagree with this, but like it or not, these are your 5 offensive line going forward. I highly doubt they do much other than add some depth in the draft because you have a developmental tackle like Frank Crum, but your 5 starters, you're set. You have Alex Forsythe as a backup center with Luke Wattenberg, who'll be entering year 4, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. And then, his contract will be up, all those sorts of things. So, Jason's correct. They don't run. So if they don't run, you don't play action. And if you don't play action, then, well, good luck. And that's just going to help Bo Nix. I'm in the do whatever to help Bo Nix crowd. He's the guy. Now get him some help. My guy Rudy. What's up, Rudy? Hurts, but experience gained. Embarrassing, but experience gained. I think that's a good way to put it as well. Aaron says, I don't even know if it's that embarrassing. You get waxed in the playoffs, it's embarrassing. Maybe there's an embarrassment scale, but just like they talk about don't play the trauma Olympics, maybe don't play the embarrassing Olympics. It was embarrassing. You got waxed in the playoffs. It's embarrassing. Chargers, it's embarrassing. The Steelers, it's embarrassing. You got waxed in the playoffs. That's embarrassing. Jesus, Bo had a better rookie season. Yeah, excited moving forward. Josh is such a different player now than he was then. So, Bo's going to be better, but it's kind of a different situation, I would say, Jesus, because Josh has become so well-rounded in what he does. And Bo is going to continue to get better in everything that he does. So there you go. Kapula says Denver needs running back, cornerback, defense, wide receiver. Don't forget tight end. Do not forget tight end in this. All right, running back, tight end, please. That's true. And Dylan about Jaden Daniels. Yeah, it's just NFC fans will be leaning towards Daniels. AFC fans be leaning more towards Bo Nix. They're great either way. Mark, this is a bold one. Nobody else wants to say, get rid of Will Lutz. He's Sean's guy. It's not going anywhere. So there you go. Yeah, you're going to have to trade up for both. So, and yes, Rick James. That's Rick James. Yeah, Bo's zillion times better. That's for sure. Okay. Adrian says T. Higgins or Garrett Wilson or Tyreek Hill. I am not a T. Higgins believer because he's hurt all the time. In 5 pro seasons, he's never played a full season. And because of that, I caution the Broncos going out and overspending on a receiver that's not going to stay healthy, that hasn't proven to stay healthy. So I would vote more like trade for Garrett Wilson. That would be a good one. And I don't want Tyreek Hill. Sorry. Speed receiver at 31, I believe, right?
Is that an old garment, or did you walk
So
across the border?
could be totally wrong with that, but we'll see. It's just playmakers, right? Is that the best way to say it is playmakers? Looks like we're getting some folks back from the press conferences. So we'll know soon how the locker room was. Maybe if Andrew Mason comes here, I will talk to Mace and see on this show. Got about 11 minutes left before I get out of here. So just go into the chat room, see what you guys are doing. Trying to stay somewhat quiet as writers are back to work. The locker room is done. The press conferences are done. And remember, Andrew Mason and I will have a post-game show when we're driving to Cleveland. So we'll have some work to do here. I'll write my high Monday. He'll write his articles. And then we'll get on the road and do something as we drive 3 hours to Cleveland. So it's going to be an interesting drive for sure. That's for sure. Max says Locke was really bad today. Missed on some plays for sure. Pass rush was taken care of. And they're running the ball so much. Like, yeah, it was just a bad combination on a bad day. Kenny says something here I like. Bills have been building for a few years, and besides quarterback, Broncos really haven't started to build on offense. Offensive line, they've built. They've put the resources in on Ben Powers and Mike McGlinchey. The draft picks, including Wattenberg, which was before a few years before, but like they've offensive line, and then they've been drafting wide receivers. They drafted Von Bailey and Troy Franklin just a year ago. Marvin Mims before that. They've had several workout receivers, Jalen Virgil, whatever, who's here, by the way. Wasn't active today, but Jalen Virgil's here. I like Jalen. So they've tried those resources. They've tried to be building. They really need running back, and tight end. That's what they need. So, yeah, here comes Dylan. Mike says reset the running back room, period. I agree with that. Trey says something. Defense has been worse the last month because you can't hide 3 to 4 below average players on defense against elite offenses. And that's the largest point here. So, Trey, you win comment of the day. There's nothing that you win with that other than my praise, which I hope is enough. Because against the best teams, that's why you wanted to see this. You wanted to see how do they perform in the postseason. Oh, not great, Bob. What do you need? They can beat bad teams. I think they're 1-8 against teams over 500, whatever the number is, right? So they took a measurement today, and they didn't measure up. But that's okay, because now you know where you stand. What do you need now? You need some help on defense. That's for sure. I like what Jurgen says. Surprising season, good team. Be even better next year. I like that. It's a good comment. Be clear. Denver came up with a bad game plan, relying on a running game. Couldn't stop the run either. People taking shots at Sean Payton. Yes, everyone's mad right now. You'll be fine. Sean Payton's going to be here. I suppose I could wrap up the show with a message that perhaps some need to hear. And that message is merely this. Sean ain't going anywhere. I don't want to hear anyone, and I don't care if it's on my station. I don't care if it's on this YouTube channel. I don't care if it's on someone else's YouTube channel. I don't care if it's in a newspaper. I don't care if it's on TV. I don't care where it is. I don't want to hear anyone say Sean Payton's a fraud or Bo Nix is whatever. Like, Bo Nix is your quarterback. He's a franchise quarterback. Sean Payton's your head coach. And Sean Payton will get the best from Bo Nix. You just gotta, there's levels to this. And obviously the Broncos didn't measure up. They didn't show themselves at the highest level. That's obvious. But I don't want anyone on my station, in my fan family, saying Sean Payton's not the guy, or this is the worst thing ever, or whatever. It's like, I'm like super pissed right now. And I'm having to control myself because I'm trying to be professional. But the one thing I won't do is start blathering about a bunch of BS about how Sean's exposed and Bo's exposed or whatever you may be hearing out there. And I'm not talking about anyone specifically, because if I was, I would tell them personally. I'm just saying in general. I don't want to hear any Bo slander or Sean slander, because it does. Even if you hate Sean Payton with the fire in your soul, like, he's not going anywhere. Just took a rookie quarterback to the playoffs. So we can all be upset. We need to also have some reason. Some reason. Aaron, I like this, Aaron. Is Jeanty that much better than O'Marion? O'Marion's one of my favorites. He reminds me of Javonte before the injury. I think it's clear you have two versions of Javonte. Before the injury and after the injury. Before the injury, my number one running back in that class, first round grade. After the injury, he's good in pass pro. O'Marion reminds me of young Javonte, of pre-injury Javonte. And I haven't yet fully graded him, so maybe he sneaks into the end of the first round, in my grades when I rank the players. But right now, second round pick. So Trey says there's plenty of running backs. There's one Jeanty. I'm telling you, there's 12 backs going to get drafted in the first 3 rounds, but there's one guy that reminds me of Saquon Barkley, and that's Jeanty. As we wrap up today's show, we'll be here for you, and we will have. Thank you, Kim. Appreciate you. We will have a lot to talk about, obviously. And as her says, lots of work to be done in 2025. So the work will continue for us at Denver Sports, for Andrew Mason and myself at Orange and Blue today, and all of us on the Fan. We got a lot of work to do, and we'll be giving you that best Broncos information out there that is available at all. It's 104.3 The Fan, and it's denversports.com. Point blank, period. So get ready for the off season. I'll just say that. Get ready for the off season. We're gonna have some good stuff for you. That's for sure. Harry says, forget them picks. Craig, what up, Craig? Drafting running backs in round 1 is a sin. Jahmyr Gibbs a sin? When I had learned that the Lions were going to take Jahmyr Gibbs, and I told some people, they said, that's crazy. So, I don't think it's a sin. Now, this isn't the 90s. You're not taking multiple backs, but Craig, what up, Craig? You have to look at everything individually. And on an individual player basis, there ain't nobody I want more than Ashton Jeanty for this team. Nobody. Yes, Jesus. There's no committee if Jeanty's here in Denver. There's no committee. 0. Webb says we need a nose tackle. Mason and I will be looking at defensive tackles and ILB options for the Broncos as we do our draft coverage for sure. So I like that. Brian says you think a running back will go out that early? Yep. For Jeanty, I do. He's going in the top 10. This is not a great quarterback class at all. So what you saw last year was the anomaly, because 6 in the first round, 6 in the first 12 is an anomaly. Bill says, I think Cecil has lost his mind. Bill, I would just ask what for, or what did I say that would lead you to that? Because I may have, but which reason do you know about? And again, I have to be somewhat reserved, working press area, so I'm not going to yell and scream and do all the normal stuff that I do in a post-game show. So it's like a library in here. People are working. So I'll be somewhat quiet, somewhat reserved. That's for sure. More nose tackle talk. How does Ashton Jeanty? Well, you don't take an ILB in the first round unless he's Micah Parsons, because Parsons can play 5 5 different positions. Yeah, Adele, you need a lot. This team needs a lot. Jeanty won't play for Denver. It'll be unlikely you get him, but I like dreaming. I like having goals. When you have goals, you have a target. When you have a target, you can hit it. When you have goals, you can hit it. So go get your target. Mike, running back Thirst. Boy, that was a Freudian slip, huh? You got to laugh or else you'd cry after this beatdown. Jennifer, what tight end is available next year? I'll be looking more into that now that it's the off season. I'll be looking beyond Tyler Warren, of course, in the draft as well. And I'll have my grades done in February at some time. As far as free agency, you know, that's a conversation forthcoming as well. Can you fix it in free agency? Do you really do that long term? If you were to get, the next Evan Ingram, something like that, would that be an opportunity or a possibility? Trade for David Njoku, says Mark. I like Njoku. And then you don't have to wait the 3 years because Njoku's already ready to go. And Cleveland's probably going to sell everything anyway because they're Cleveland. So, just getting through the rest of the chat room here. So thank you guys for all that. And I don't think somebody said they're a lost franchise. Rick said that. Lost franchise? I don't think so. No, they're found now. They're found because of Sean Payton and Bo Nix. So I don't think they're lost at all in that situation. Linebacker after mid-second is Nate says OBT's BFD. That's right. It is. So, yes. We'll see what stud linebacker. Yep. Jeanty wants to play for the Cowboys. How about you play for who drafts you? And, this isn't a Cowboy show, so nothing against you, Tom. I'm just like, didn't they find their running back in Rico Dowdle? Right? Didn't they? So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Trey, be back with Bo. That's right. Get back with Bo. I like that. Andrew says Cam Scatterboo. I will be personally scouting Scatterboo in Mobile at the Senior Bowl. I'll probably talk to him. He's 5'6", everybody. So there's 12 running backs are going to be taken in the first 3 rounds. He's ranked number 7. Early swipe. So everyone loves him, and he's tough, and he does everything, and he pukes on the field. But from an NFL lens, teams may look at him differently. I will dig up more. I will discover more. So there's no Scatterboo slander. But just know for everyone that's like, Cam Scatterboo, the NFL doesn't look at him with the same rose-colored glasses. He could be the greatest back of all time. But I'm telling you, the NFL may not value him as much as you guys do. He's an option, to be sure. This team would like him, to be sure. But he's not the type of guy that you're just giving the ball to and nobody else. You would still have a committee with Scatterboo. You wouldn't have to with Hampton. You would with Caleb Johnson. You would not have to with Jeanty. Do you still want a committee? Scatterboo or Johnson? Do you still want a committee? Because that's what you'd get. I don't like running back by committee. Be square honest with you. So Dennis is the man. Always grateful. Appreciate that. What time is the post-game show? We got work to do, and then we got to hit the road, and then we'll see if we can stream something in the car. So yeah, it'll be then. There you go. There you go. Oh, Gage, what's up, Gage? Says everything's done. Gotta go. See you when I see you. All right, appreciate that, everybody. And that was 20 minutes ago. So yeah, pressers are done. Just going through. Lead heads here. Nice. Defense horrible against good offenses. Yes, you guys are right. Nate says Broncos country's overreacting. They just got their ass kicked in the postseason. Nate's a real one, so I'm not going to give him too much crap, but they just got their ass kicked in the playoffs. Everyone's going to overreact. And then by Friday, you're going to have your thermostat up, girl. The Arctic front comes through Denver. But yeah, let people overreact right now. Trust me, if I wasn't in a working press area, do you know what I would be doing? I wouldn't call for anyone to be fired. But you're getting a much different post-game show based on where I'm at, because I can't lose my stuff. Although it would be nice. It would be nice. Yep, Daniel, I agree with this. Perfect. Yep, perfect. It says, tell that to James Marella. I will. I'll see James tomorrow. So, yeah, there's some conversations for sure. Wesley says, I can't stomach trading up for running back. Barkley had, what, like 80 catches as a rookie and 1,500 yards, whatever the numbers were. Like, I can't stand that guy that rushed for 2,000 yards. Yeah. Trey says, remember, guys, coaching took worse roster in the league of the playoffs. Yep. And you measure up. Like, against the elite, you get stomped. You're not a member of the elite. But you could be with the right moves this offseason. We'll tell you about them right here on this show and on this channel. That's for sure. So, Jonathan says, stay frosty. Cody says, thank you. Caleb says, thank you, guys. And, that's why I'll wrap up the show. I'm an hour and 7 minutes now. I was only going to go an hour. It's tough for me to be quiet. I like to be loud. So I apologize to anyone around me that's working because I'm supposed to be quiet. Anyway, Michael, dressing for a funeral? Dressing like Archer, right? Outlaw country. Great off season coming, that's for sure. We know that. And yeah, it was a great season. So let's do this. As we wrap up today's show, we say thank you. Thank you to the viewing audience. We can't do this without you. OBT is a BFD. And this show means a lot to me. Your guys' viewership means a lot to me. Andrew Mason means a lot to me. Like, we got a lot of love for you guys. And we love what we do. We appreciate that many of you tune in and dial in and watch along. So many of you follow us on all the social networking at Mace Denver, at Cecil Lammey. We thank you guys because we couldn't do this without you. So it means a lot. It means a lot to have the audience, and it means a lot to, have this platform and have this opportunity. Whoops. I dropped my tripod that doesn't work. Maybe I should just throw it away because it no longer works. These matches are disappointing me. And if you know the quote from that movie, you are a Janine Garofalo fan. But either way, that's a wrap. The way the season started to where the season ends. It's been a fun one. It's been a fun ride, that's for sure. So now that I'm watching myself on my laptop and ready to wrap up the show, it's time for draft season. And draft season is Cecil season, which sounds corny, but whatever. It's time for Cecil season. And because of that, in addition to saying thank you, I make you a couple of promises. And I'll wrap up this show. Okay? Here are the promises. I promise you we'll bring you the best Broncos coverage, period. And nobody will bring you better coverage. I promise no one will bring you better draft coverage. Because that's my specialty. My specialty is clearly not having a tripod because this thing's broken. But either way, we're going to out-draft everybody on Dover and Cecil, on Orange and Blue today. We're going to keep everything going. And we're just here for you all. So for Andrew Mason, and we're going to do a post-game show, so don't worry. We'll plenty more coming. But I'll just say thanks. It's a rough end to a great year. And get ready for our draft coverage because it's going to be awesome. And as always, stick with us here on Orange and Blue today because we appreciate you very much. That's a wrap, Broncos country. Stay frosty.